Hello and welcome to this week's edition of BS with AJ. Here lately, I've been kind of tied up and doing a lot of things. Work has been pretty busy and everything, so I've not been able to put out very many videos. Obviously, you've noticed probably if you watch my videos, whatever. Anyway, so this is the third craft show that I've set up in the last month here. So I've been trying to sell a few things here and there, trying to pay for my hobby, of course. I run a YouTube channel. It helps pay for some of the stuff. But I would like to be able to sell some of my woodworking things, of course, too, to help me pay for the material that I buy. Obviously, I need to get more wood to make more videos. And also, it made me start making a lot more of the things that I was making in the past. So it's giving me a chance to make some more videos and stuff. I've got some built up. I've not had a chance to edit them, of course. Because I haven't posted something in about 3 or 4 weeks. I apologize, guys. My bad. But you know how it goes. When things start getting busy, it's all or nothing. But anyway, so I'm set up here at this craft show today. This is called the Slab Town Festival. It's in Symsonia, Kentucky, and it's just a few miles up the road from me. Like I said, this is only the third craft show I've set up at. The last two that I've went to hadn't had the biggest crowd to show up at them or anything, so I've not sold a whole lot of stuff, but I have sold some things. I'm getting my name out there, getting my YouTube channels out there, so that way people know that I'm a local YouTuber. I make things and things like that. If they're looking for videos to make things or whatever. Anyway, I'm just rambling. You know how it goes. I don't do live videos very often either. If you haven't noticed, it's just whatever. I don't know how well you can see me right now. The sun is probably right behind me here, so I may be in the shadow. I can't see the screen too well because it's really bright. But so yeah, I've been setting up at these craft shows. The last one was a Relay for Life one, and I was gonna do a live video for that one, but I never got a chance to. Excuse me. They had changed location at the last minute, so the crowd just didn't show up for that one. It was kind of bad, not because I didn't care that I didn't sell anything necessarily, but because it was for Relay for Life. They was trying to raise money for a good cause, and I was really hoping that the community would come and show up and help them support that, because these people that put on that show, they did a lot of work. They put a lot of work into that and making that as big as it was, and they had a lot of vendors that showed up and everything. But because of the weather, they had an outdoor event they had it set up for that, and because of the weather, it was raining that weekend. They had to change the location. I mean, at the last minute, I got a message that the night before that, hey, we're moving to an indoor location. It's it's several miles away. So the only thing that they could do at that point was just put up a sign on the gate. They were having it at a local place outside. They had a big fenced-in area. It was going to be a really cool setup, and they had a guy that was out there with a tractor who was actually making ice cream using his PTO, which was pretty cool, and the ice cream tasted pretty good actually. Anyway, they had a lot of people set up out there, and they ended up doing cakewalk and things like that. You pay $1, everybody, to go up there and do that, and you'd walk around and get you a cake. It was cool. They did several of those. I think they did probably one every half hour or something like that, and it was a pretty long show. So, there were several cakes to have. But anyway, so like I said, the crowd just didn't quite show up the way that I was hoping it would for their purposes, of course. Because it's not, if you're trying to raise money for something like that, of course you want a bigger crowd to show up, because they were also doing an auction. They had a lot of people that they'd given a lot of things that they could sell up there just to help make money for Relay for Life, because like I said, that's a good cause, and of course you want to be able to give to that. I of course donated something to that, and it made them a little bit of money, but like I said, it was mainly vendors there, so there wasn't it didn't go quite as high as it could have gone. Anyway, so I guess I'll get up here and I'll show you how I've got my table set up, about where I'm at and things like that. I don't really see a lot of handmade things around here. Otherwise, I'd do a walk around and show you guys some of that. But honestly, there's not that many handmade things. Most of it are just people, just regular vendors or whatever. They've got some food vendors. They've got some jewelry and home decor and things like that. But anyway, so I'll get up here and I'll show you what I've got set up. Let me turn my camera around. Let's see here. Oop, I gotta keep it this way. Just kidding. Now then, how do I flip this around? Right there. Alright, here we go. Alright, so let's show you my setup here real quick. Set up outside, right behind the porta-john. Hey, I mean, that could be good, it could be bad. I don't know yet. We got some shade over here. I've got my sign set up out here with my BS with AJ logo. It's also got the YouTube URL, and it's got my phone number for people that need to call me if they're wanting something custom made, because I do have some custom made things over here that are made to order. Right here I've got some wooden spatulas. I believe I've made a video on this. I know I have made the video. I don't know if I've actually put it up yet or not. But these were all handmade. These are made out of ash, and they're really, I wanted to use ash because it was a really hard wood, and it's a really durable wood. So that would be, it's a really good wood for things like spatulas and things like that. This is going to take a lot of abuse and things like that. These are the magic wine bottle holders. I didn't do these out of a hardwood. I had some pine laying around, and I thought that would be perfect for it because they don't weigh a lot. And they work really well either way. It don't have to be a hardwood. Now, again, they don't look as nice, but I could make those out of a hardwood. It would look a lot nicer and things like that. But it was a real quick project that I could make, so that way I had something else sitting out on the table, of course. Right here, I've got some bottle stoppers here that I've made. I've got a couple different colors. I don't know how well they'll show up in the video. This one here is blue. This one I burned. I used a torch on it. This one I tried red, white, and blue on that. And how's it going? Oh, never mind. I thought you were... yeah, sorry. I thought I had a customer show up behind me. It ended up being my wife. Anyway, this is a red, white, and blue bottle stopper that I had trying to make. It didn't quite turn out the best. What I've been doing on these other ones, as you can see, the grain ended up picking up the color a little bit. Now, it didn't do a whole lot, but it was enough that it actually made it look kind of nice. On this one here, I don't know if I just didn't sand it enough or whatever, but it ended up smearing more than anything. So, I mean, hey, it was worth a shot. I've also got a red one over here, and I've got a black one. I've got a couple different, they're all somewhat similar shapes. This one's a little bit different, of course, but, I just tried to keep it simple on those just because, I don't know, it was something quick to make, and honestly, I think this looks pretty good, but that's just my opinion. I've also got these honey dippers up here. I know I've made at least one video on these. These are also made out of ash, so they're really hard wood, and they'll last quite a while. I put a finish on all these. I used wood butter. I'm pretty sure I made a video on that before showing you guys how to make that. It's a really simple finish that's really good for anything that's going to be in contact with food and things like that. So I always try to use that on like the spatulas, on the anything, like I said, it's going to come in contact with wood, of course. Let's see here. I've got, this is our gag gift. I have a whole lot of this stuff laying around, so I took some sawdust, put in a bag, and made some stickers up. So this is the Jigsaw Puzzle, level expert. Good luck trying to put that together. But anyway, it makes a real good gag gift. I gave some to some people for Christmas, and it got a good laugh out of them, at least. We got some mason jar lids here. I got a couple different types of wood. These are ash back here. I want to say these are sycamore, if I remember right. And I'm not 100% sure on what this is. I've got a plate made out of it. It basically looks like it's got a bunch of knots in it. It's a darker wood. It really looks cool, but I have no idea what it is. I've tried to ask some people, and they didn't really give me a straight answer on that. And like I said, I'm pretty sure this is sycamore, if I remember right. I did a little bit of research trying to figure it out. It's a really lightweight wood. It's really like airy almost, and when you go to try and cut it or use the tools with the lathe or whatever with the chisels, it doesn't, I don't know, it kind of chips up a little bit. I tried to do something different with just these. So what is this? Something else showed up here on the screen. I apologize, guys. Okay, it went. It's gone now. Anyway, once I sanded it down real good, I had to put the lathe in forward and in reverse to be able to get that to sand out fairly nice. I wanted to try and make a plate out of it, but like I said, it was kind of rough feeling, so I figured something like a mason jar lid would probably be the best for something like that. And here's one that's already set up on the jar. They're more of a decorative kind of setup, like if you were wanting to display some whatever you want to put in mason jars, I guess. Here's the wood butter. We got it all sealed up in our jars and whatnot. Made these stickers myself. Willie's wood butter, because why not? My last name's Willie. Just go with it. Oh man, I've got some cutting boards over here. These are the ones I did not make a video on these actually, because these are just face grain cutting boards. These are real quick, and that way I can sell them fairly cheap, because there's not a whole lot of people that wants to pay a lot for the cutting boards. I can make some end grain cutting boards. but I'd have to charge too much for them, and I don't really think anybody would want to pay that. Now, I've had some custom orders made, and I will make them for them, but for a show like this, if I made one, I guess I could make one and bring it with me, see if I could sell it, but whatever. These here are made out of maple and cherry. I've got a couple different patterns on here. This is probably my favorite. That's just the way the wood worked out on me there on that one. I had a big old knot up in the corner there, which is why I ended up cutting that out, but it also gives it kind of an interesting look on that. So I don't mind that. I think it's kind of neat looking, honestly. The rest of these are just square, and they've got, I've got a couple different patterns here on this. Not, that one is a little offset there, but it's kind of interesting. And this one here, I ended up with more cherry than I had left over, so that's how that ended up. All right, so let's see here. We'll move right along. We got some walnut bowls. I've got 4 of these over here. They're all fairly similar. This one's they're all about 1.5 inches deep. This one's more rounded over, I'd say, and this one is more like a straight edge. These kind of look neat, and I ended up using shine juice on these. I've not made a video on that just yet, but excuse me, it works great on the lathe. It's basically a friction type of finish, and I use the friction heat to actually make it shine up real nice. You put several real thin coats on there, and it turns out really nice, especially on this walnut. I just like walnut, period. I love the way walnut looks. So I definitely had to make these out of some walnut. This here is a piece of spalted oak. As you can see, here's some of the spalting on this side here. It's a really neat grain pattern here. I just happened to come across it. That was out of some, I don't know, it ain't gonna try and focus on. There we go, it's focused a little better. Anyway, as you can see, it's got them little waves, and it's got a little blue color, it's got some black to it, and on the other side, it's got some black. But I really like that. This one was really hard to end up cutting into because it was an ingrain bowl, as you can see here. And I put several coats of that shine juice on here to make it shine up real nice. It's not really that deep of a bowl, probably about 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches, something close to that. That was one of the first bowls I had made, but like I said, it was ingrain, so it dulled my tools up pretty well. But I really like that. That turned out really nice. It was a piece of oak that I had got from my uncle. He had a tree fall down on him, and so that worked out great. Free to me, and I got to make something really neat out of it. Let's see here. I've got a couple different plates here. And this one here is made out of cherry. It's a really, because that's the size piece of wood I had left over after the cutting board I made. This one here is maple. It's a slightly larger plate there. And this is, again, that other wood that I had showed you before that I really don't know what type of wood it is. If you guys have an idea, please leave your comment down there, leave a message down in the comment section below. Because I have no idea. It's really neat looking, and I'd love to get some more, but as of right now, it ain't gonna stay up there. That's the only one that I've got made, and I only have 1 board of that stuff. I'm sorry, I'm trying to set my stuff back up here. There we go, I got it set back up now. This plate down here, this one made of cherry, is actually, I finished that with the Willie's wood butter before I found the recipe to make the shine juice. Now these other ones are pretty shiny and they look a lot better. This is more of a dull finish, but it still looks pretty nice. So it works a lot better, like I said, on utensils and things like that you're regularly gonna wash. Anyway, so I got my candles holder here that I had made a while back. I've got this little lid here that I had made. And I put it on a spiral jar, drilled a hole in it so that way you can put a little lid in it. And I drilled that hole fairly tight so that way your stuff won't come out. Whoop. And then I just kind of made this randomly and whatnot. I had a little bitty piece of wood left over. I was trying to make a top, and I ended up making the handle just a little bit too long. I guess I could cut it off and try and make it work, but whatever. It looks it actually fits just perfectly in this little straw. So hey, whatever. I just found a new purpose for it. Alright, I've got some custom-made turkey calls here. This one is glass overslaved. It's got a walnut, yep, that's what I'm talking about. What did I say? Not walnut. This one's the walnut one. I apologize, guys. I'm just kind of zoning out here. Don't worry about me. Anyway, this one's the one made out of walnut. It's got anodized aluminum, and it's over slate. This one is maple. That's what I was trying to say. Yes. But anyway, I've got a couple bowls here. This is another piece of oak that I had made. This little bowl here. This is actually the first bowl I'd ever made. And it's more like, it's a really small, probably about 4 inch in diameter, maybe 5 at the most. But this was made on my old lathe, so I had to put some screws here in the bottom to actually hold it into place and stuff like that. So now that I've got the chuck set up, it works out a lot better. But anyway, how's it going, man? Pretty good, pretty good. You guys staying pretty busy?
Oh yeah.
All right, cool, cool. This here is I've got my live edge bowl I've made over here, and as you can see, it was made out of some oak that I had got from my father. It had been sitting on a porch for the longest time. They come out fairly well. This one here, I tried doing kind of the opposite. I put the live edge on the bottom. It kind of looks neat. I like the way it come out, but I did notice something as I was trying to make it. I always put a recess in these bowls, and because of that, because the live edge was down here, the bark is obviously not as strong as the heartwood. So it did try and fly off the lathe once or twice, which is not fun, of course, and not safe either. But yeah, it's just something I was trying. Like I said, it come out pretty neat looking. These are some of the strikers I'd made for the calls here. This one here is made out of ash. It's a really light colored wood, and it sounds really good, but you know, it's really bright colored, so if you're setting out in the open or something, it's going to be a little more noticeable. I've made them out of walnut before. This one here is made out of cherry. Right here, we got a little bitty bowl that I had made just out of a piece of wood that I had come across. Pretty neat looking. I've got my business card set out here, and I've got a couple of these mugs that I had actually etched, or my mom had helped me etch on them. This one's got a cardinal on it. That's our state bird. And this one says, I heart Kentucky. I don't know how well you can see that. Let's see, I heart Kentucky. It come out pretty good. And these are some washcloths that my mom had actually made. She'd knitted these, and they come out really well. We sold 1 or 2 of them, and they do really good. But yeah, that's pretty much the setup that I've got. Let me turn this. I gotta rotate it back around here. Well, that's pretty much about all I got for you today, guys. I just wanted to make a real quick video because I hadn't been able to make a video here in the past couple weeks. Like I said, work's been kind of busy, and I've had these craft shows that I've been setting up and everything. It's been kind of cool setting up at these craft shows, meeting new people and things like that. I have met another wood turner, which I showed you in the last live video that I did, and I also ended up meeting another guy who did he did a lot of scroll saw stuff at the last one I was at. Like I said, I didn't end up getting to do a live video there. I kind of wish I would have, but I didn't have a chance to. It's all right, though. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's video. I'll try and get back to making regular videos here as quick as I can, but right now I've been covered up. I'm working about 2 hours from the house every day, so I'm driving back and forth. It's an hour, like I said, it's 2 hours from the house, so every morning drive there, go to work for 10 hours, drive back home. So I've really had no free time to be able to edit these videos or anything like that. But I'll be sure and get on that as quick as I can. You know, I don't like leaving you guys hanging or anything. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this week's video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and consider supporting BS with AJ on Patreon so we can do bigger and better projects for you guys. And I'll see you next week. I'm still here, but I'm trying. Exit.